Hallo, heute ich gemacht, hausgemacht spaetzle. Today I'm making homemade spaetzle here in my home kitchen. And vielleicht du denkst, was ist spaetzle? Maybe you're thinking, what is spaetzle? Spaetzle is a delicious egg noodle, German style, and it's so good and so delicious and one of my favorite German recipes. Actually, the first time that I had spaetzle was the day after I got married, and my husband is German, and we went to go have some delicious spaetzle, and I was hooked at first bite. It was so good. So today, I have everything I need to make it here at home in my home kitchen. Ich habe alles. Ich habe Mehl, ich habe Eier, ich habe Salz und Wasser. So I have all of the ingredients. It's just eggs, some water, some flour, and some salt. And then of course, my spaetzle making utensils. So I have a big bowl and a wooden spoon. And then also, I'm going traditional today. So I have a cutting board and a knife to make some traditional spaetzle. But then I also have a few makeshift modern spaetzle making ingredients. So I think it will definitely be a spaetzle cooking adventure. And I hope that you come along and check it out. So let's get started first and foremost by making our spaetzle dough. It's gonna be so good. And then we'll cook up our delicious spaetzle on the stove. No speeds. Let's go. Okay, so for my spaetzle, I'm going to start by cracking my eggs. So I have here about 4 eggs. These are about medium to large size eggs. I'm just going to crack them here in my bowl, just like that. So it's very similar to making a traditional pasta. I don't know if you've seen also my other pasta making videos where I made just egg pasta and also some orecchiette, but I really love making pasta, and because of how much I love spaetzle, I mean, I had to also make a video of making spaetzle too. So, alright, so I have my eggs and I'm just going to whisk them just gently. So just to kind of break them up a little bit. And then to that, I'm going to add about 1 cup of regular all-purpose flour. And they're just like that. And then I'm also going to add some salt. Sprinkle in just a little bit, because I'm also going to salt the water for this spaetzle. So we're going to have flavor all around. Now, what I'm going to do is just start mixing it together. And basically, this is definitely one of those pasta recipes, or just a recipe in general, where you really just have to kind of feel it and get a feeling for it in order to see what else you need to add in terms of if you need to add more flour, if you need to add some water, whatever the case might be. It just takes some hand whisking in order to see where it's going. So mine is looking pretty good so far. So I'm literally going to keep on whisking this. It takes some time, because the batter really starts to stiffen up. So if you have a strong person with some muscles in your home, definitely enlist them to help you make the spaetzle. But as for me, I'm going to keep on whisking it by hand, and then when I'm done whisking, I'm going to take it to the stove and I'm going to start making my spaetzle. So excited. It's already looking so good. So as you can see, it's starting really to kind of develop into the spaetzle dough that we need. We need it to be nice and kind of thick and also stick a little bit to the spoon, but I'm going to keep on whisking it with my wooden spoon, and then we'll have our spaetzle. Hey, so I've been whisking away for several minutes now, and as you can see, it's a nice thick consistency, not too thin, but also not too thick, which is very important. And as you whisk it, you will notice that some of the air bubbles start to form. This is also a very good sign. It's a good sign it means good spaetzle. So now it is ready for me to take it to the stove and start to make it. So got my spaetzle dough all ready. Now time to cook it.
The first method I use for making spaetzle is the most traditional, using just a cutting board and the back of a long knife. I dip the cutting board into the water and then place some of the spaetzle dough on my cutting board. Dipping it back into the water and my knife into the water, I smooth the dough onto the cutting board into an even layer. And then using the back of my knife, I scrape it into long, thin strips into the water. And this is what makes the nice long pieces of spaetzle dough. The second method is using a box grater. I take some of the dough and I put it into the box grater, and then using a wooden spoon, I just work it back and forth and allow the pieces of spaetzle dough to drop into the water and to cook. So I just keep on going until I have enough spaetzle, just taking little by little of the dough and working it back and forth continuously. The third method, I use a plastic colander, and I just take some of the dough and using my spatula, I work it round and round in circles, allowing the spaetzle dough to drip through the holes of the colander into my boiling water, just like that. And once the spaetzle is done cooking, it will come to the surface, and so I just drain it in the water and place it in a nice cool water bath. So this helps cool the spaetzle down and to essentially stop the cooking process of my spaetzle. So simple.
Okay, so I just finished making the spaetzle, and let me tell you, it was a lot of fun. Definitely super cool experience. So I made it first and foremost the traditional way. So the traditional way is with a cutting board and with actually a spaetzle knife, but since I don't have the little slotted cutting board, I just used a small cutting board, and I used the back of a serrated knife, and I just put it on the cutting board, and then I just scraped it off into the boiling water. That is the most traditional way of making spaetzle, and the result is these long noodles that are not too thick, but just really good. I actually was really pleased with the traditional way, and it was the first way that I tried. So the second method that I used was actually with a box grater. So I've seen that sometimes other people use just a hand grater, but I have a box grater on hand, so I decided to just put the spaetzle inside the box grater here. And then I just, with the spatula, I just rubbed it back and forth, and the spaetzle then just dripped down into the water. And then the result is these little tiny pieces of spaetzle, and they're small and chunky, almost similar to the consistency of a dumpling, so, but a really small dumpling. Still super good, but also just another method. And then the third and final method that I used, I just took out a colander. The most basic plastic colander that I use for just pasta making and, you know, washing veggies and things like that. And I put the spaetzle in, and then I just worked it around with the spatula, and the spaetzle dripped down into the hot boiling water. And what it created was a little bit longer pieces, but similar in texture to what the box grater did. So not identical, but similar. So my ultimate favorite method out of the three is definitely the traditional. I'm going traditional. There's nothing like the cutting board and the knife. This, to me, was my favorite method in terms of efficiency, in terms of time, in terms of tool cleanup, and most importantly, in terms of the spaetzle result. Now, granted, they all use the same dough, so they all have the same taste. They were all cooked in salted boiling water. But I find that the texture, and I love the longer length of the traditional spaetzle. It's so good. And so, what I did is I melted a little bit of butter, and I just put in some of that the traditional batch of spaetzle. And then I seasoned it with a little bit of salt, and then just put some herbs on top. And so right here I have like a butter and herb spaetzle. So simple, so good, and I think it's definitely worth giving a try. So I'm just gonna flavor it in. So good. I love it about spaetzle is that you taste it and it's so good just on its own that just with some butter and some herbs and salt, you think that it's a fancy sauce on it, or cheese, but it's actually just the spaetzle itself with a little bit of butter and herb. It's really, really good. So, alles ist möglich, all is possible, you believe. An American Frau mag spaetzle. As an American woman, I have made German spaetzle, and the most traditional way happens to be my favorite way. So, thank you so much for checking out this video on how to make German spaetzle, German egg noodles. I hope you enjoyed it, and I definitely hope you give it a try, and I can't wait to see you next time. Until then, guten Appetit and tschüss!